Okay, let's do 3 Om. I think it's 3, yeah. 3 Oms and Sahana Vavatu and Guru Stotram. Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mavit Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Guru Stotram. Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darsitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Stavaram Jangamam Vyaptam Yatkim Sissacharacharam Tatpadam Darsitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darsitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Amadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Very good. So we are doing the 4th chapter of Panchadashi, which is Advaita Vedanta by Vidyaranya Swami, where he considered there are 2 types of creation. One is the Ishvara Srishti, and Ishvara Srishti, through Maya, he creates the whole universe. But in addition to the Ishvara Srishti, there is a Jiva Srishti also. Ishvara, even though he can create anything, he does not create anything. He is creating limited by the demands of the Jivas. So all Jivas put together, their demands, essentially the vasanas of all Jivas, is essentially called Maya. So the Maya is a means for which the Lord uses that as Upadhi, as instrument for creating the whole universe. The whole universe of 14 lokas, and depending upon the individuals of their Sattva, Rajas, Tamo gunas, they are essentially distributed in those 14 lokas where they can experience the vasanas of individual vasanas. So the total vasanas of all jivas put together is called Maya. And individual vasana at the individual level, it's called avidya. Same thing, it's different from the global point, it's called Maya, because we cannot say Ishvara has avidya. Ishvara is Mayanta Prakritim Vidyam Mayinanta Maheshwaram. So he is the Mayavi. Maya means he is the wielder of Maya. And therefore it is for him Parameshwara Shakti. It is the power that he can wield as Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti Suyati Sacharacharam. So under my Adhyaksha, he says, I am creating this Prakriti. Prakriti, Maya is being created. So I am blessing the Prakriti to create all this. Now, this Ishvara Srishti has to be visualized by a Jiva. So in the visualization of the Ishvara Srishti, because the Jiva is the one that is experiencing the world, and when he is experiencing the world, he sees the world, but he doesn't see the world as it is. And his vision is clouded by his likes and dislikes. So therefore, there is a Jiva Srishti on top of the Ishvara Srishti at an individual level, and that differs depending upon individuals. So individuals' likes and dislikes differ. The same object will give different reactions for each different individuals, because their vision is clouded by their vasanas, and that's what is called Jiva Srishti. So there is no problem in the Ishvara Srishti. Ishvara Srishti is there all the time. So as it is, the world isn't a problem. Cake on the table does not give any problem. But when you say, I want this cake or I hate this cake, this reactions from the individuals is a problem. A fellow who says, I like the cake, but he should not be eating cake because he has a diabetics, there is a different problem. So all these problems come not because of the cake, because of the likes and dislikes of the individuals superimposed on top of objects. So this is just a watch, right? Yes, I'm holding a watch, this is just a watch. But this is my watch compared to your watch. It doesn't say it is my watch anyway, but I am claiming the ownership of it. This is mine, that is yours, and all that, and I would like yours also mine, if possible. So that's how the process of trying to gain, aggrandizing, and trying to acquire this, all the rat race starts, because I want that also as mine. So this is called ahankara and mamakara. This because I feel myself, I am a limited entity, and I have only this part of likes and this part of raga, they called raga dveshas, which is same as the vasanas. So here he is giving an example of a diamond. He says there is a diamond, that is Ishvara Srishti. But Ishvara Srishti gives you different reactions to the people. Those who possess it, they are happy. Those who lose it and didn't get it, they are unhappy. This happiness, unhappiness has nothing to do with the diamond. So that's what example here is going to show. So the samsara means the suffering of an individual comes because of the Jiva Srishti. So Jnani is the one who sees the world as it is. He had no more this is mine, that is mine, I want this, I don't like it. All those reactions will not be there. And that's what is called prasadam. Prasadam means when somebody gives a prasadam, he says we don't react to it. We say, oh, I don't like this prasadam. It is prasadam, we take it with a reverential attitude that it's coming from the Lord, because it is the result is from the Lord. So that is the attitude of a jnani, even when he is transacting in the world. Whatever that comes is the Ishvara Arpitam, Ishvara Prasadam only. So here he is giving example of the diamond. That's Sloka 20 that we did. Isha Nirmita, we chanted this, I think, so I'll just go through this. Isha Nirmita Manyadav Vastunyeka Vidhestite Bhoktruddhi Vritti Nanatvat Tad Bhogo Bahudeshyate. So Isha Nirmita Mani Adav, so the one, the diamond, etc., that are created by the Ishvara, this is Sloka 20 that we did last time, Vastuni Aneka Vidhastite, that is perceived differently by different people as Bhoktrudhihi, hey, this is enjoyable, this is not enjoyable, and those who gain it may enjoy, those who lost it will suffer, and so on. Vritti Nanatvat, the thought about the objects differ in individuals. Tad bhoga bahudeshyate. So that experience of the object by individuals differ from jiva to jiva. That is because of Jiva Srishti. So he's explaining more about the same example, 21. Hrushyatyeke manim labdva Krushyateko manim labdva Krudjatyanyo hyalabhataha Pasyatyeva viraktotra Pasyatyeva viraktotra nahrutyati nakupyati nahrutyati nakupyati. Together. Hrutyatyeko manim ladva krudyatyanokhya labhataha pasyatyeva viraktotra nahrutyati nakupyati. So ekaha, one person, manim labdha, having gained the money, that means one who got lucky enough and won that money, having gained that diamond, hrishyati, he becomes very happy. Anyaha, the other person, alabhataha, who did not gain that money, so not having gained or won the money, krudjati, he is angry and sorrowful also, because he didn't get it. Anger comes, all the reactions also are there. So atra, in this diamond, so viraktaha of disposition, pasyati eva, na hrutyati, na kupyati. A person who does not have either likes and dislikes, a jnani, neither he elates or neither. If it comes, it comes. If it goes, it goes. Because it's only a Ishvara Srishti. Whatever that comes, it comes. Whatever that goes, because of the prarabdha only. Neither na hrutyati, na kupyati. Neither he is elated or Dukkeshu anudvignamanaha sukeshu vigataspruhaha vita raga bhayakrodaha stitadhir muni uchyate. That's what Krishna says in the second chapter of Stita Prajna. Whether sorrow comes or happiness, he is not up, he reacts normally, but he is not excited about it or worried about it. It comes, it goes also. Because anything, agama paino nityaha tantisisha svabharata. Whatever that comes and goes, it will go also. So nothing is permanent here. So na hrutyati. So he is viraktaha. Viraktaha, atra viraktaha means he doesn't have any rakti. He doesn't have any desire for the object. Therefore, na hrutyati, na kupyati. Neither he gets elated or depressed. So we have three reactions. One who very happy, one is unhappy, and one is impartial. So that's one. Normally this is only about diamond. But normally, there's a story that says there are two partners went into together as a partner in the business, and one fellow says, "Oh Lord, give me at least 10%, I'll be very happy." So he goes to the temple every day and prays, says, "Let's have 10% of profit." And the other fellow also goes, his partner also goes and says, "Oh Lord, give me 20%, I'll be very happy." And so he's also baking coconut every day and doing all the pujas and all that. So what happened in the end? They got 15% profit. One fellow is joy. My God, I asked for only 10% and Lord gave me 15. So he's so kind. God is so compassionate and he's jumping all over with the praying for the Lord. The other fellow is cursing the Lord. I asked for 25%. You gave me only 15%. So percentage same. Reactions are different depending upon your attitude. Whereas if it is a prasada buddhi, accept whatever that comes. So in life, for a jnani or for the one who want to be, lot of ups and downs will be there in life. Okay? I had to accept it because these are karma phala. And he is called giver of results of the action. So he is karma phala data. So Lord is giving the result for whatever the actions I have done in the past. Therefore, I had to accept it as a prasada buddhi. Okay? There is nothing I can do about it because the action has been done. What I can do with what I have is my purushartha. So that has to be understood. So this is just not only diamond, because our life is always ups and down. Things keep coming, things is going, all sorts of things will be coming. And here is going to give some more examples of that. Priyo priya upechetscha Priyo priya upechescha Ichakara maniganastrayaha Ichakara maniganastrayaha Srushta jivairasa srushtam Srushta jivairasa srushtam Rupam sadharanam trishu Rupam sadharanam trishu. Together. Priyo priya upechescha Srishtascha Ityakara Maniganastrayah Srushta Jivairasa Srushtam Rupam Sadharanam Trishu. So Manigaha means with reference to the money. We have Priya, Apriya, Upeksha. These are the three reactions. Priya means some people who liked it, and Apriya, people who did not like whatever the situation is, and Upeksha, some people didn't bother at all. It means impertinent. Some of the news we read, or somewhere there is a big earthquake, so we read it and we forget it because we have not much relations there. There's something happened there. That is Upeksha. Suppose some relative is there. Oh my God, what happened to him? You will have to do on the phone call whether he is there, what happened, and all that, all the anxiety, because mine is there. That mamakara is there. So this same thing will be, a lot of things are happening in the world, but upeksha means there is nothing. If you can do something, do something. Otherwise, there is nothing we can do about it. So at least do prayer, at least say, let there not be like that. Let everybody be happy. Sarve bhuvantu sukhinaha. You can do prayer at least. So priya, apriya, upeksha. So these three reactions, trayaha, akaraha. So these different types of reactions, jivaihi, by the jiva, is srushtaha, are created. These are jiva srushti. Trishu, of these three different forms of experiences, sadharanam rupam isvara srushtihi. So in all these three, there is a one common, that means everybody is seeing them. And the reactions are different. So what is that common in all these three is the Ishvara Srushti. That which is uncommon, that is superimposed on top of Ishvara Srushti. I like it, I don't like it, it doesn't matter to me. All that are superimposed are called Jiva Srushti. So there is always Ishvara Srushti and Jiva Srushti in all our things. So he's giving some more examples here. Here example is, there is one beautiful lady, and the beautiful lady is looked at differently by different people depending upon their relationships. And that's what is the sloka 23 is. Bharya snushana sushana nandancha. Bharya snushana nandacha. Bharya sushana nandacha bhata matitya nekadha bhata matitya nekadha pratiyogi dhiya yoshidu pratiyogi dhiya yoshidu bhijyate na swarupataha bhijyate na swarupataha. Together. Bharya snushana nandacha bhata matitya nekadha pratiyogi dhiyo yoshidu bhijyate na swarupataha. So Yoshitu means this beautiful woman. Pratiyogidhya. So depending upon the different relationships that they are looking at her. So she is in the big combined family. So many relatives are there. And each one, same lady, only one lady, but people are looking differently. One he says, Bharya, she is my wife. So husband looks at her as Bharya. Then Snusha, she is my daughter-in-law. So the parents-in-law says, this is my daughter-in-law. Nananda, she is my sister-in-law. So these relations become, the individuals are different the way they are looking at it. Vata is the wife of brother-in-law. So many, it's a big family. Mata, so children of her, they consider her as my mother. Iti, in this way, anekadha, varieties of superimpositions on one person, that they are all are looking at the same person, but each one is having a different vision of her, looking at her, having a different vision of her. Bhijyate, that vision obviously, that with reference to each person is different. So Swarupataha na bhijyate. So Swarupata, from her own point, there is no difference. She is only one lady, and say I am, period. I am husband, wife for him, for other daughter-in-law, mother for these people, sister-in-law, daughter-in-law, all those relationship but that is depending upon individual jivas. But from her own reference, she is just I am a beautiful lady. That's all she can have. So that is Ishvara Srishti. Other ones are Jiva Srishti. Relationships is only Jiva Srishti. So whole chapter is on the Ishvara Srishti and Jiva Srishti and why Jiva Srishti causes a problem. Now, when this teaching, one fellow says, objection says, what is an objection? These are all the logical questions that are raised. Hey, you say that people are differently reacting, right? That is only knowledge, but there is only one. What they say is only one person. So why do you say there is a difference and all that? So it's essentially, he's trying to raise an objection here. Nanu jnanani bhijyantam, nanu jnanani bhijyantam, akarastu na bhijyate, akarastu na bhijyate, yoshid vapushvati sayo, yoshid vyapushyati sayo, na drushto jiva nirmitaha, Jiva nirmitaha, together. Nano jnanani bhijyantam, akarastu na bhijyate, yoshid vapushyati sayo, na drushto jiva nirmitaha. So nanu, whenever nanu comes in this bhashyas and all that, it means there is an objection. Somebody, means here the teacher himself raises the objection. In case you have this kind of objection, he answers. That's how our shastras are. Whether somebody is really raising objection or not, so that even if a student has this kind of an objection, it is answered here in this process. So, objection is raised. What is that? Jnanani, the knowledge of the woman, it's a being a lady, whoever, as a wife and so on and so forth. Bhijyantam, may be different. Each one say, I am seeing her first, and then I am superimposing after that my relationship depending upon the way I know her. So, there are two things. One is perception of cognition of the object as it is. Then on top of it, then recognition. Right? We call recognizing. So, there is a cognitive process, then there is a recognition process. Two things are involved. So, cognitively, everybody sees the same lady. There is no difference in that. But recognizing that she is my wife, she is my daughter-in-law, are recognitions. Means second cognition is there, and that is where the superimposition, that's the knowledge of individuals. So why do you say everybody is seeing vritti? The thought is obviously cannot be different. Everybody is saying the same thing first. Yoshidu vapushyati sayo, vapushi atisayo. So Yoshidu, this lady, say vapuhu from the point of body. So there is atisayaha, there is no additional specs in this, there. Nadrushto jiva nimita, that's not created by jiva. Everybody sees the body only. Why do you say whatever the jiva is, whenever he is seeing always a jiva srishti. So there is an Ishvara srishti also he sees. So that is the real knowledge. So essentially what happens is, what you see is actually first Ishvara Srishti, cognitive process, and recognition takes place instantly, where on top of it, your value system will superimpose on it. But what happens is, we don't differentiate. We don't differentiate the cognition and recognition. When I say, hey, this is a watch, yeah, this is a watch, I recognize it. I don't say I cognize this and then I say I recognize it. It's instantaneous, right? So the second aspect is so quickly that it's only Jiva Srishti we really carried away, all our operations. That's what he's going to tell us now. Maivam mamsamayi yoshitu, Maivam mamsamayi yoshitu, Kachidanya manomayi, Kachidanya manomayi, Mamsamaya abhedepi, Mamsamaya abhedepi, Bhijyatehi manomayi, Bhijyatehi manomayi. Together, Maivam mamsamayi yoshitu, Kachidanya manomayi, Mamsamaya abhedepi, Bhijyatehi manomayi. So he says, Evam, in this way, Ma, do not conclude that Mamsamayi, making of the flesh, Yoshitu, Kach is something Anya different from Manomai. Don't conclude that your perception really differed from what it just the Mamsa and everybody first sees the matter and then superimposed on that. That's not really what really happens quickly. So therefore, Yoshitu, Kach is whatever something Anya different from each Manomai means that which is pervaded by the mind is always this form plus additional thing that superimpose automatically. Mamsamaya, from the flesh, abhede, they may not be different from the mamsam point, from the matter point. Mamsam is here, we are talking about the lady. So, means form may not be different, the person may not be different. But Manomai, the mental picture of the person is different. Bijjate, he indeed differs because of the superimposition. So here the cognition and recognition occurs so instantaneously. Therefore, what you really so-called cognize is actually what you are doing as a recognition. You don't have two cognitive processes. Yes, now I see. Now let me think what it is. Unless you can't recognize the object, you may say object, hey, I don't remember. I see thing. I don't know who he is. I remember this form. And then you go back to the memory. So that is a recognition process. It may take long time. So there is a theory that we have two parts of the brain, right? Left side and the right side. So forms are seen from in one stored, or pictures are stored in one side, and language is stored on the other side of the brain. So we see a person, but suddenly we have to recollect the name. We forget the name. Why? Because it has to come from the other side of the brain. Because for that Chinese and Japanese, they have pictorial language. So both are stored in the same. They immediately grasp the picture and the name comes quickly because they are pulling from the same side. For us, the language is stored in the other side. At least there's one theory, but anyway, that's what they say. So picture of recognition comes along with the recognition, the likes and dislikes also coming into picture. Okay, the vasanas are also coming into picture in the recognition process. In the cognitive process, there may not be. The cognitive process also will depend upon my capacity of the sense organs. Right? So, if I am color blind, I may not be able to see, even though its Ishvara Srishti has different colors. Because of my sense, my capacity is nothing to do with my vasanas. It's something to do with the body there. So I may not be able to see the colors as they are because the things have to be grasped by my senses and then information has to be put in. But all that is going to be discussed in this now. So the another objection says you say they are different, but I can say there are two types of cognitions. One is cognitive process from the memory and cognitive process direct perception. Okay? So, and memory is coming from the previous storage only. So, even though the vritti means thought. So, how do we do anything? What is a thought? Thought happens as soon as I see object, and that object is transformation to the mind as a form of vritti. And therefore, object out there has become a thought in my mind. And the thought in my mind is what I see. What do I say? Object I am seeing, but actually I am seeing the thought in my mind. All this has to be understood. So here the objection is, I can have internal perception. Without closing my eyes, I can imagine the whole world. Where did I imagining? From my memory only. And there I have likes and dislikes also. What I like and what I don't like also I can imagine. So this is a mental projection without involving direct perception. Now, but that's also vritti. This is also vritti. It's also thought process. It's also vritti. So what's the difference? That is the objection that is being raised. There you can say that it is a Jiva Srishti. The internal projections, and I can daydream. or any dream, even the dream also, is my own projection. It's not Ishvara Srishti. I am creating myself based on Ishvara Srishti of my memory. So I can keep doing so. That is also Jiva Srishti. That I can say, accept that is Jiva Srishti. But when I am perceiving the world, why do you say this is also Jiva Srishti? That's what he is trying to object here. That's a 26. Bhranti swapna mano rajyam Manti swapna mano rajya smrutishvastu manomayam smrutishvastu manomayam jagran manena me yasya jagran manena me yasya namanomayateti chet Namanomayateti chet. Together. Bhranti swapna mano rajya smrutishvastu manomayam jagran manena me yasya manomayateti chet. So Bhranti means a delusion. That means I am seeing something other than what it is. Like when I see a rope where the snake is, the snake is not Ishvara Srishti. I am creating there because of wrong perception. So Bhranti, delusion. Swapna, the dream projection. Manorajyam means mental imaginations, that is the daydreaming and all that. Smrutishu, in the memory, that is coming from the memory, etc. Manomayam, they are also mental thoughts only. Astu, maybe. What you say is true. So this may be, they are called internal perceptions without direct sense involved. There is no sense input. It is only I am imagining from the memory already. How did that imagination came? From previously I have seen, using sense input only. So that has to be recognized. It can be previously in this life or previously from before life also has to be. So Jagran manena, whereas in the case of waking state that I am seeing with respect to the waking mental projections or thoughts, Meyasya means prameyasya, that means of the direct object of perception. Prameya means object that I am seeing. That manomayata, so it's also mental thought only. Naiti. So if you say, don't argue, don't say that this is not really, this is different from the other one. So objection is, they are different. What is it? This is directly perceiving, that is Ishvara Srishti only you are seeing. Whereas the other one I can accept that is Jiva Srishti. Why do you call this also Ishvara Srishti? So that is the objection. So objection is valid because when I am seeing perception, it's not I am not creating a chair. Right? Chair has been created by the Lord in one form or other. So I am seeing already there. So Vidyaranya says, yes, you are right. Madham manetu me yena Madham manetu me yena yogasya dvisha Yakrutihi yogasya dvishaya krutihi bhashyavartikakarabhyam ayamartha udiritaha together badham manetu me yena yogasya dvishaya krutihi bhashyavartikakarabhyam ayamartha udirataha. So Madham means yes. That is true. That object is real in the waking state. It's not just a mental projection, it is really there. So Mane, in the thought of the knowledge, Vishaya Krutihi, in the shape of the thought, Meyena, Prameyena, that means objective knowledge, Yoga Syat. That how it happens. How does it happen? There is, even though object out there is created, there is an internal creation of the Jiva, of the object in the form of an image. That's a human. If I close my eyes and say, then nothing will happen. I cannot see any form. Right? I can hear, so I can close one sense, this sense of sight, and not see the objects, but I can hear the objects through the ear, touch, other sense organs will be operating. If I close all the senses, then I will not see the world. So Ishvara Srishti will not be there. But I can keep imagining all that. So whenever the senses are involved, the idea is even though Ishvara Srishti is there outside, I am creating an image in my mind in the perceptual process. How is the image is created? Is going to talk. This is called epistemological analysis. So how does perception occurs? Right? This is what we analyze in a lot. So here he says, who is going to tell us this? He says, Bhashya Vartikakara Abhyam. Bhashyakara and Vartikakara, I have already discussed this before. So this is not my theory. I am going to state what Bhashyakara is Shankaracharya. So Shankaracharya and Vartikakara is Sureshwaracharya. Sureshwaracharya is also Sringeri, first guru of that, where Vidyaranya also became later one of the Mathadipati. So he is quoting his own, the chain of command of his, who started that, the Sringeri Matham. So he is quoting both of them. So this has been Ayam Artham Udirataha. So this has been declared as this is what is going to happens in the perceptual process. So now we are looking at what Advaita theory of perception is. He is going to quote Shankaracharya and Sureshwaracharya in the two slokas. There are three slokas. First two are from the Shankaracharya, and in the next one is from the Sureshwaracharya, he quotes. So this is our explanation of how does it happen. So this is the theory according to Advaita. But this theory is coming from actually a Mimamsaka. Purva Mimamsa. So Advaita following that Purva Mimamsa theory. So there is some problem in this from the scientific analysis, but this is what the theory says. What is the theory says? Whenever I see an object there, okay, the mind goes out, engulfs the object, and the senses gather the sense input from that and forms a vritti in the mind. This is the theory. Okay? So, mind going out and forming an object, enclosing the object and taking the shape of the object. And shape means form. So, form and colors and all that being senses are gathering that information. Okay? So, that is what is going to be discussed here. And how is this, is the explanation how this is. Moshastikam yadha tamram Moshastiktam yadha tamram Moshastiktam yadha tamram Tannibham jayate tadha Tannibham jayate tadha Rupadin vyapnuvachittam Rupadin vyapnuvachittam Tannibham drusyate dhruvam Tannibham drusyate dhruvam. Together. Moshastiktim yadha tamram Tannibham jayate tadha Rupadin vyapnuvachittam Tannibham drusyate dhruvam. So here is an example that Shankaracharya gives in the Bhashya. And in the Upadesha Sahasri, this is quoted as in the verse 28 and 29. I think it's in the 14th chapter. So quotation from Upadesha Sahasri is from Shankaracharya written. So in that, what does it say? It says just as when you are when you're forming a copper Krishna or something, so you melt the copper and pour it into a mold, and the mold, the liquid occupies the form of the mold and crystallizes in and solidifies in the form of Krishna, right? So, molten liquid taking the shape of the mold, in the same way, mind takes the shape of the object. That means mind goes there and grasps the object, and mind travels so fast. That's what is the fastest one in the creation? Yudhishthira was asked by the Yaksha Prasna. He says the mind is the fastest. So, you're sitting here, immediately you can think of India. We're already in India. No plane can go that fast. So, mind travels fast. So, that's what is the, so, yadha So Tambram is the just as Tambram, the molten copper. So Moksha Siktam, so Moksha Siktam is poured into the mold. Tannibham Jayate. It takes the shape of that mold. In the same way, Tata, Rupadin, these different forms that mind takes, Dhruvam surely, Tannibham Drusyati. This is essentially the same way the mind takes the form of an object. That means mind goes there, occupies the object and forms that. That is the theory of perception in Vedanta. So those who want to know, this is the analysis of the how the pramanas, how the operation. I have written critical commentary on the Vedanta Paribhasha. Vedanta Paribhasha talks about the perception, epistemology. So in my website, Advaita Forum, www.advaitaforum.org, there is a critical analysis of Vedanta Paribhasha. There are around 30, 40. I think Dennis White has edited that. And they are critical on how perception occurs. And here, this is the essential talk. But what is that is different from a modern theory? So what is a modern theory? Mind doesn't go there. In the sense, the light reflected and comes in through the retina, and through the optical, it forms an image in the retina and transferred through the optical system into the brain, and there is a language that we don't understand, code, where the electrical signal plus minus signs is converted into a language of vritti, mental language, that it forms a thought. Right? It's like a computer, you say plus minus signs into language, you need a code, right? So Lord has provided a code which we don't know how, but that converts the electrical signal into a concept of thought. We don't know what is mind and thoughts, and thought is that. Okay, so this is our modern theory. In either case, the end product is the same, where the thought is formed by the perceptual process. Whether mind is going there or it's coming, ultimately the thought is formed. How? Here Shankaracharya says it is the liquid taking the shape of the casting and forming that shape, same way mind taking the shape of the form and forming that. That's one example. Next one is a more beautiful example. It's also from the Upadesasastri. Vyanjiko va yatha loko, Vyanjiko va yatha loko, Vyangyasya karatamiyan, Vyangyasya karatamiyan, Sarvartha vyanjakatvadhihi, Sarvartha vyandakatvadhihi, Arthakara pradusyate, Arthakara pradusyate. Together. Vyanjako va yatha loko, Vyangyasya karatamiyan, Sarvartha vyanjakatvadhihi, Arthakara pradusyate. So here, this is the same example of light is being given. Now you can see the light reflections and all that coming in. So, yatha va, just like, yatha or like, va means va. Another example is giving. Vyanjakaha alokaha. So the light Vyanjaka means light. So the light of illumination of the object means light is falling on the object and the object is getting illumined because of that light. Vyangyasya of that object, akaratam in the shape of that object, yat is taken. So when the light forms and the light is reflected and an object is formed in that form. So here obviously the light, when it's forming, it is only frontal view that we can get. We don't see a backside view because the backside light is not coming for us, So this is the more scientific correct way of, Shankaracharya already gave that in a way. And Sarvartha Vyanjikatva Dhihi. So this Sarvartha, so all objects or being known, Vyanjakatvad, or being of the nature of illumination, because of the light has to fall in. So external light is falling and then getting illumined, and that's how I am seeing the objects. So without the external light, I cannot see the object, obviously. But that is for the colors and forms. But other things I don't need. I can eat even in dark. So other senses can work without light also. This is only for form, colors. So giving example. Arthakara, the shape of the object, pradusyate is taken and seen. So this is how the mind also takes the form of an object. That's how here the interpretation. So there are two aspects here. So one is the Ishvara Srishti is there, object is there. And the Jiva Srishti is forming a vritti in the mind as a part of it, and that cognitive process and recognition process are involved in the process of Jiva Srishti. So these two are from the Bhashyakara. So he is giving one more example from the Sureshwara, and this is quotation from the Manasollasa. Manasollasa is commentary of Shankaracharya, of the Sureshwara Acharya on the Shankara's Darshanamurti Stotra. Okay, we took Darshanamurti Stotra also in the Memorial Day weekend camp. And from that Manasollasa is taking a sloka here. Maturmanabhinishpattihi Maturmanabhinishpattihi Nishpannam meyameti tat Nishpannam meyameti tat Meyabhisangatam tacha Meyabhisangatam tacha Meyabhitvam prapajyate Meyabhitvam prapajyate. Together. Maturmanabhinishpattihi Nishpannam meyameti tat Meyabhisangatam tacha Meyabhitvam prapajyate. So Matuhu, the one from the knower, Mana Nishpattihi. Mana is pramana. So the means of pramana means means of knowledge called thought knowledge of this object. So Nishpannam is born. So this is how Sureshwara. When I see an object and immediately a thought of the object is born in the mind. That's how it is. And knower knows this object. As soon as this is thought, immediately I see, I see a chair immediately. Open my eyes, my mind is there, immediately I see it because so fast. What is happening? Is not really seeing a chair out there, I am seeing a thought in my mind. Okay, that's how it's perception. But chair outside is the Ishvara Srishti, thought in my mind is the Jiva Srishti. So eti goes tacha, and that thought also meyo abhisangataha, having meya is prameya abhisangatam. So having contact with the object of the knowledge, prameyam. So meye chityam. So in the form of object is prapajyate. So what happens when the mind goes there? A vritti is formed. What is a thought? Thought is of the form of the object out there. Because it's taking the senses are taking the form, and so each sense has its own field. Eyes can see colors and forms, and the ears can hear sound. So only each five has limited, their field is limited. Ears cannot see, eyes cannot hear. So each field is limited. So five senses, I am gathering the information of the object in the form of a thought. So thought content is nothing but the properties, attributes of the object in some of Sabda Sparsa Rupa Rasa Gandha. Five senses are gathering and that's a vritti. So this is what the shape of the vritti. It takes the form of the object, it takes the color of the object, it takes the sound of representation of the object, all that are part of it. Okay? But actually what it is, it's only reflected attributes of the object. Because objects belong to the Object only. You cannot remove the object, the attributes, and leave the object there. So properties of the object remain with the object, but what I am saying is the reflected image of that. Right? Reflected image, reflected properties only I can see. So that is what is thought. And that depends upon my capacity of my senses. What I can measure is nothing to do with Ishvara Srishti. The capacity of my senses, I can see if my eyes are not colorblind or not able to focus properly. I see diffused. I say the object is all fuzzy. Object is not fuzzy. My image is fuzzy. So all that is happening inside the mind, and that's part of the epistemological analysis of how knowledge takes place, as per Advaita Vedanta, which follows the Mimamsaka position. Okay, Shloka 31. Satvevam Vishayau Dvausto Satvevam Vishayau Dvausto Gatam Runmaya Dhimayau Gatam Runmaya Dhimayau Brunmayo Manameyasya Drunmayo manameyasya Sakshi bhasastu dhimayaha Sakshi bhasastu dhimayaha. Together. Satmevam. There are two things. Na and va. Satmevam vishayau dvausto gatam runmaya dhimayau brunmayo mana meyasya sakshi bhasastu dhimayaha. So evam sati, so this being so, vishayau, the objects, though two things are, there are two aspects involved in the term. So what exactly is the how perception occurs? This complete story is, when I see an object, I have a thought in my mind. So the reflection of the object, of the external light, forming an image, and then that's how a thought is formed. Without the reflection, I cannot see the object, because if there is no light, I cannot see the object. And the same process occurs when these objects outside are illumined by the external light. In the same way, thoughts are illumined by the internal light. Follow? So, how is internal light? That is the consciousness, light of consciousness illumining the thought, and that's how the thought, it reflects back, and that is what is the illumination? Consciousness. What is the consciousness? That is all-pervading consciousness is the one that is Sakshi, which is become reflected on the mind as Chidabhasa. And that reflected light from the mind falls on the thought and get reflected back. So it is the Sakshi that knows. But Sakshi himself say, I don't know anything. It is in my presence everything is. So when you say just as Lord created, Lord say, I am not really created. In my presence, Prakriti is creating. Maya adhyachena Prakriti suyate. So in the same way, the Sakshi means pure consciousness, now reflected at individual level by the Chidabhasa, by the mind as the reflected consciousness, and that reflected light from the mind again falls on the thought, gets reflected back to Chidabhasa. Now Chidabhasa, which is nothing but Sakshi only, knows, hey, this is the thought. The thought is nothing but object out there, and object has these attributes. So all it can say is, this is an object with these attributes. All that is going on inside as a part of the inferential statement. So here, there are two types of creations here. So, Ghatam Mrunmaya Dhimayo. So, one is Ghatam Mrunmaya means it is made with mud. There is a mud pot, and mud pot is created outside. I didn't create the mud. So, that is outside as a part of Ishvara Srishti only. But now when I look at it and form a thought in my mind, the thought is created by the Jiva in the mind, by the mind, and it's the mind that sees, but mind itself is inert. It is the consciousness through the mind sees. Okay, you follow the whole process itself. That's called Sakshi. So, Mrunmayo Manomaya Hasya. The same Mrunmaya mind is one, mud pot is one, and there is a thought pot is another one. There are two pots. Mud pot and a thought pot. What I see is actually thought pot. Okay? And on top of the thought pot, then I have superimposed value system. That comes from my vasanas. So a cognitive process and the recognition process involves, and in the recognition process my superimposed value system is also, I like it, I don't like it, it doesn't matter to me. Those are three broader classifications also. Sakshi bhasyastu dhimayi. So in the thought of a dhimayi means the thought of the pot is being visualized, known by Sakshi. Sakshi means the one who is witnessing consciousness. Okay? All this has to be understood. So when I'm seeing the world, there are two things. One is the Ishvara Srishti and another is a Jiva Srishti. So what is a Jnani will do? Jnani will see all this process still. But what he doesn't superimpose in the recognition process or recognition process, his value system there. Okay, so there is still Jiva Srishti going on as he is part of the Ishvara Srishti, as he sees the pot as a thought in the pot. So thoughts are still are being perceived as he is seeing the world, but he does not have udasinam, means he doesn't have likes and dislikes. He accepts as the part of, hey, this is what the reflected image of the Lord appearing. So Lord is everywhere. I cannot see the Lord directly through my eyes. I am only seeing the reflected image of the Lord in different forms now. You follow now? All that is important as a part of the process. Okay, we'll stop here. It's 26. We'll give some time. We're at 32. 31 is finished. Let me do Purnamada Purnamidam. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Let me save this.